Welcome to the G.N.A podcast, Games, Nerds, and Alcohol, where we get drunk and talk about stuff. However, I'm not going to drink too heavily tonight. I am, however, going to drink a little bit of something. I am alone this evening. I completely screwed up on timing, mostly because I went to Kentucky over the weekend, and in the process of going over to Kentucky for the weekend, I didn't really tell very many people that we were changing things up, so I changed things at the last minute, and I messed it up. So, shame on me. Anywho, much more to come about the Kentucky trip here in just a few minutes. Right now, though, I am going to tell you about what I am drinking. And, oh, whoops, I'm also trying to play a different game. Terminator Resistance. So we're going to see what that thing's about. So I'm going to be playing that while we're chatting and seeing what's up. But what I'm drinking, that's the most important thing. So in Kentucky, went out there for a friend of mine. You may have known him, Magnazel. He went out to, he invited me to his bachelor party. And of course I said, there's a bear shit in the woods. I was there, ready to go. I had my, I had my drinking pants on, or my bachelor party pants on. And oh boy, did I have my bachelor party pants on. I definitely brought it. So what we did was we went out to Louisville, Kentucky, and we did the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Which the Kentucky Bourbon Trail is just you bounce from distillery to distillery. So I'm going to say one thing right off the bat. You do not want to go out and do the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and think that you are going to get bachelor party sloshed. You are 100% not going to get bachelor party sloshed. I mean, you can, but you got to try. Like, you really got to try. So, in the process of doing this, we went in and what should I put on? Normal, hard, easy. You know, I'm going to be talking and playing, so I'm going to put on easy for now, and I'll switch up to normal later. Anywho, so we had a whole thing planned. How it worked out was I was supposed to be there. Well, we were all supposed to be there Friday evening. We're going to play board games and stuff Friday, and Saturday we were going to go down into Louisville, Kentucky, and go drink. Go do the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and drink and be merry and have fun. And yeah, and then Sunday I think we were going to play more board games, and Monday everybody was supposed to go home. So Monday, instead of going back, like everybody left in the morning, well, except for me and one other guy, instead of going home, I had a late flight. Well, I'll tell you about that later. Let's get into what I'm drinking. So one of the places we stopped was called Barrels and Billets. It's right off of the Louisville Slugger Museum, and I guess it's like their new thing that they're doing. So, while you're there, they had a bourbon mixing class, I guess. And you take they have like 6 different bourbons, and you mix them together, specifically, like in a specific way. And in mixing them, you get a different taste. And so I learned how to mix bourbon. I guess one of the cool things about bourbon, is that the mixing of bourbon is a long time thing, because you couldn't get you couldn't get good bourbon forever ago. You would get whatever the bourbon mixer could get. And then from there, they would mix the bourbon to be the bourbon that you like, the flavor that you like. So that's what we did. We literally sat down for the class and we mixed up bourbon. So this is the first time other than when I was mixing it. And to be honest, I was already drunk by the time we got there. So I was already drinking. So I'm not 100% sure how it tasted, at least then. So now I'm drinking it now. We're going to see what it's like. Just full on, first thing. So here we go. So off the bat, it smells like a sweeter bourbon. Not one of the hardcore leathery ones. Maybe a little vanilla on the nose. Yeah, definitely a little vanilla on the nose. Let's see what it's like. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could drink that. It's sweet. It's sweet on the hit, like on the attack. Very sweet. Levels out to a nice smoky flavor. Oh, yeah. Yeah, glad I got 2 bottles of this. This ain't lasting a while. No, you know what? Maybe I'll save this for whenever anybody comes over for the G.N.A. Misadventure League. I'll be like, hey, you showed up. You get some of the G.N.A. Special Elixir. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it over to... I don't have any friends local anymore. Who do I got local? Hal's local. Yeah, Hal's local. I could go over to Hal's house. But he works nights. I don't know if I could get over to his place. Yeah, I'll figure something out. I'll find somebody local that I could go hang with and maybe go drink some. But yeah, so, okay. This basically is going to be the episode of the story of Kentucky. And I'm sure I'll tell it again anyways, but here we go. So Friday, I'm going to get to Kentucky, and I'm flying out. My plane is leaving at 6:15 in the morning. So me and my infinite wisdom, I'm like, oh yeah, 6:15. I got to be there at 5:15. I'll be fine. No, boarding starts 30 minutes earlier and stops 15 minutes before. Thankfully, as I woke up super early anyways, got in the car, got everything ready, and boom, we head off, getting a ride. Unfortunately, one of the roads were closed. I was cutting it pretty close, to be honest, but one of the roads were closed. So on the way there, we had to take a few extra minutes and detour around to get to the airport. Get to the airport, get out. I got to check my bag. So there I am, walking up, and there's this huge line, just this huge line. And as I lock in, I'm like, all right, well, here we go. I get on there, and I'm in that line for like 30 minutes. I look at my clock. I'm like, okay, no, plenty of time. 30 minutes. I got 35 minutes to get to my plane. Plenty of time. I will be fine. So I get up to security. Security's line is like wrapped out around the mezzanine, and like it's huge. So I get in security line, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And guess what? I go to get through the line. I finally get through the line, and I look at the clock. It's not good. I start bolting down to my gate. I literally get there seconds before the door closes. Or sorry, let me back that up. Seconds after the door closes. So I'm staring at a closed door and my plane, and I can't board. So I explain, hey, I was here super early. I got caught out in front where I had to check my bag. Then I got caught in security. Like, what can we do? So I get a later flight. And then I have to rebook my flight because I was going out of Atlanta. Because my later flight wasn't going to land when my other one was. So I had to rebook everything. So I finally get there. I get to Louisville, and I'm still earlier than everybody else. So I'm walking around, and I'm like, you know what? I'm hungry. Like, I haven't eaten anything except for some airplane almonds. I'm hungry. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go find sushi. Yep. You know what not to get in Louisville, it seems? Sushi. Well, let me rephrase. I can tell you one place not to go to get sushi in Louisville. And that would be Otaka Sushi. And it's like 2 streets down from Maine, or 1 street down from Maine, and then like 3 blocks up from the Louisville Slugger Museum. As I figured, because when I was talking to one of the other guys, one of Magnate's other friends, we were trying to figure out what to do for like a memento for Magnate. Something to be nice and be like, hey, look, here's something that you can remember this weekend by. And the conversation turned to, well, we're going to Louisville. Why don't we get him a Louisville Slugger and we'll all sign it? Just make it a cool thing. So I went over, I picked up the Slugger, and yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. We all got back. We all signed it, presented to him that night. But also while I was there, since I was there early, I went and I nabbed him. I found a custom t-shirt place. And do you know how hard it is to find a custom t-shirt place that will literally print you 1 shirt that day? Yeah. Anywho, found a custom t-shirt place. Was able to get a custom t-shirt that said Bachelor on the front. And then on the back it said, about to get married, and had a ball and chain on it. It was fantastic. It was awesome. So now I go, and another guy was going to be flying in from San Diego, and his flight's coming in like 3:45 or something. So I was like, all right, I got some time. I go off, and I order the custom t-shirt, and then I go pick him up, and then I go back to the custom t-shirt place to go pick it up because they were awesome and printed it that same day. So I go back to the custom t-shirt place, pick up the t-shirt with the new guy in tow. Then we go to the Airbnb. Now, this is where things get awesome because this Airbnb was so cool. I mean, it was $4,800 for, I think, for all of us to stay there for the 4 days, for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, check out Monday. But it had a pool table, it had a hot tub, had a fire pit. It was within crawling distance of a grocery store, so I could go get milk, eggs, cheese, beer, and beer. I forgot those first things I said, but I got beer. So we were like walking distance to a whole bunch of restaurants. Oh, speaking of which, if you ever are in Louisville, check out a place called The Eagle. It's like, I think it's technically in Louisville, but it's like one of like on the outskirts, like the suburbs of it. Dude, they make the best fried chicken sandwich known to man. I'm dead serious. This fried chicken was so good. We ended up having, I think we went back there another time just to get fried chicken again because the fried chicken was so good. So we go in, and so that night everybody finally gets there. Everybody gets rooms, all that other fun stuff. I mean, I've already started drinking. If it wasn't expected, let me clarify. I was already started drinking. I think I was drunk from Friday until Monday morning, about 10 o'clock in the morning. I just maintained. If I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thirsty, I grabbed a bottle of rum and drank. And I'm not kidding. I just drank a bottle. I just kept drinking. I had water and rum, and I would just slam two of them and make sure I maintained. So that night we played a game called Coup. And Coup was it's a social deception game. So you draw two cards, and you've got different abilities per different character that you have, but nobody knows the character that you have. And if somebody, like anybody can say anything, like for instance, the Duke can take 3 coins out of the center. And once you get up to 7 coins, you can do a coup, which is you force one person to flip up one of their cards. And once both your cards are flipped up, you're out of the game. So you can say you're any of the characters and do any of the abilities. But if somebody calls BS on you, you have to prove that you're that character. And if you prove that you're that character, you get to keep your cards face down, but you have to turn that card in, shuffle the deck, and then take out a new card. So everybody just says, I'm the Duke, and takes 3 coins. Well, the assassin can, of course, kill somebody for 3 coins, but the Viscount, I think was what it was. Yeah, the Viscount can stop an assassin, and a captain can steal. And there's a whole bunch of other things. But basically, if you call BS on somebody and they prove that they are them, then you lose an influence. Otherwise, if they can't prove that they are, then they lose an influence. So it was a pretty fun game. I don't think I won a single game that night, but it was fine. We played pool a bunch, and I think I won a game of pool. But we didn't lose, we didn't win. I didn't win anything else after that, at least that night. So we're drinking. We wake up the next morning. We had like an 11 o'clock something or other. So I'm up at my normal 5 o'clock. We go crank it, I go crank it out, making breakfast and stuff. And I think we're all just kind of milling about, getting ready. I'm playing a couple games of pool. I think I threw Scrubs up on the televisions. They had like these 2 fairly large TVs, but they were Fire TVs. They were all through Amazon. They were like smart TVs, but with the Amazon Fire software on it. It was pretty cool. Or like you could literally yell out and go, Alexa, make a chicken rape a goat or something like that. It would go ahead and do it. So it was pretty fun. Man, that bourbon's good. Actually, the second hit kind of has that little leathery taste right at the beginning. Yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway, so next day we get up and we start our bourbon tour of Kentucky. We end up first going to Barrels and Billets and doing the bourbon barrel flipping thing there. Thankfully, I had already had beer and stuff at the house, so I was already slamming beers and stuff before we left. And yes, we Ubered, so we were all completely safe. We acted responsibly. So we go down there. we do that. And of course, we force Magne to wear the bachelor shirt. You know, he doesn't get out of that. He's got to wear the bachelor shirt. So we get down there, we do that, and then we start going to different, just different distilleries around. We started doing tours. Now, this is why you don't want to go down there and try to do the bourbon barrel or the Kentucky bourbon tour to get like sloshed. Because you go to one distillery and you have like 30 minutes of a tour. Well, sometimes you got to wait 30 minutes to get in the tour. So you're literally waiting an hour because they don't give you any samples or anything until the end of the tour, typically. So you're sitting there literally waiting like an hour, trying to get to, some booze. So in that time, unless you slam something in between, you're literally like completely awake the whole time, like just sobering up. So we're going down there, and of course, as we go and we eat, and we're going through, we're doing a couple different tours. I think we had like 3 different places, maybe 4. I just remember the one place they had, I didn't realize it, but I'm fairly confident I stole a shot of bourbon from them. Because they had a whole bunch of bottles set up in shot glasses, and nobody was standing there, so I assumed it was a serve yourself situation. Pretty sure I was wrong. However, I have nothing to prove it. So, I'm going to go with, I may have stolen. Not 100% sure. Anyway, so we went to a couple different places, and then we ended up at this like really cool museum that had like all sorts of different stuff. It had old World War II stuff. It had like a whole Black Lives Matter display upstairs on one of the floors. It had a whole bunch of these figurines that were like dime store figurines or penny store, something like that. I think they're called dime store figures. They were like little figures that you had as a kid. It was really cool. I mean, thankfully, I just, when we went to lunch, I just kept drinking while everybody else stopped. So shame on all of them. But it was fun. Then we made it to, after that one, everybody's like, oh, we're fading. So it's like, all right. So we went back to the Airbnb, and like almost everybody just passed out, like just knocked out for a nap. Now, in their defense, we were up pretty late the night before. I think it was like 1 or 2 o'clock before everyone went to bed. It might have been, I think it was more closer to 1 o'clock when everybody went to bed. And of course, with travel and all that, it just takes it out of you. I was awake though. I just kept drinking. Like they all went to take a nap, and I just opened up the fridge, grabbed some more beer, and just started drinking. I think for the hour or so that everybody was out, I plowed down 2 blood orange IPAs, and I can't believe I found it there, but I found a 4-pack of Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA with the new label and new box and everything. So stoked. So I picked up and I had one of those as well. So then we went, I think we were going for dinner after that. So we ended up at the Eagle that night, which was a great meal. No, we ended up at Eagle Friday night. We ended up getting barbecue Saturday night. So we all walked down. I grabbed a couple of beers at that place. We drank. Then we got back and we played some more coup. But while we were touring around Louisville doing the tour, one of the other guys that was with us, ironically the next oldest guy to me, yes, I was the old fart there, he went off, found a game store, which I never made it to that game store. Damn it! Now I remember. I wanted to go to that game store, and I never made it. Son of a... Well, I don't think I'll ever go back to Louisville. But anyway, so he picked up the expansion to Coup, which made the game way more playable. Like, the night before we were playing, and it was... like, you could have 3 of any single character, and there were 6 of us playing. So by the time a couple of people were out, you pretty much had a really good idea what was in the deck and what was left. But by then, you really weren't, unless you had already committed to making moves, you really weren't making moves at that point in time. You were just playing out whatever moves you were doing. But yeah, so we ended up getting barbecue. And I think everybody just ate too much because we just sat around and played coup. Next day though, Sunday, everybody stayed up super late that night. I think Goy and I ended up over at the gay bar. Yeah, so we ended up going to the gay bar. Goy's gay, so we ended up heading over to the gay bar. And you know what? The gay bar was just, the vibe was cool. The atmosphere was cool. But man, everybody was really cliquey. Like when we got there, the bartender was really cool. Like he's sitting there, he's talking with us, telling us about the area. And I was like, hey, is this kind of like it for a Saturday night? And he's like, honey, Saturday night hasn't even started. It doesn't start until about 11 o'clock here. I said, oh, okay, well, I'm good with that. It was about, I think, 8:30. It's like, okay, I'm good with that. Yeah, let's go. So I was drinking, just plowing down through rum and cokes there. And, like, people were walking in, but they were all, like, very, like, they would go to their friends, and then that was it. Like, you try to strike up a conversation with anybody, and they were just very kind of standoffish. And even when, like, our bartender left, and then they had, like, you know, the 4 bartenders that were going to be there for the night, even them, they were really standoffish. Like, like, I think I'd had my 3rd rum and coke by then, and I was just thinking to myself, you know what, I'm gonna slow down for a second. Yeah, I don't want to get throw up drunk at this bar. So the bartender's sitting there, and I look over at her, and she's like, did you want another one? You know, kind of giving me the motions. And I'm like, no, thank you. And I signed no, thank you. And she went, okay. And then, like, that was it. Never looked over again the entire night, the whole entire time I was there. And then another bartender there had she had this really cool, like, tattoo on her arm. And it almost looked like if you think of Corpse Bride, just think of that as a cartoon, that style, and was holding like a cat, but it was like a silhouette or an outline of a cat, and it almost looked like fabric on the inside, but a lot of negative space use, so there was a lot of skin tone in it. It was really cool. It was a cool tattoo. So I said, hey, what does that mean? I was like, it looks familiar. The style looks familiar. And I was expecting her to say something like Corpse Ride. And she said, no, it's me and my cat. I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm a cat person, and I've had a bunch of cats, so I got this one. I had one cat, but instead of it making it look like that one cat, I had it look like, you know, kind of just a generic cat because I always have a cat. I'm like, oh, that's a cool story. And that was the end. She walked away, and conversation never struck up, like, never came back even to say, hey, do you want to drink or anything? Well, I finally look over at Goy, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm a Bolt. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Because I think he was worried that I was going to feel like super uncomfortable or something, but I don't care. There's booze there, I'll drink. If there's people there, I'll talk. Just how I am. But there's nobody talking. Like, people were walking in, walking out. Like, I was looking at people like, hey, man, that's a nice shirt. You know, or hey, dude, those are awesome shoes. I was giving off the straight guy vibe at a gay bar. Totally 100% know that. But it's one of those, you know, being friendly. But yeah, it was like really, really cliquey. And then I got back to the house, and everybody's just sitting around. Like, I'm still drinking. Everybody's just sitting around, and I think they were watching a movie. What were they watching? I don't remember what they were watching. Dogma, maybe? No, it wasn't Dogma. They were watching something. So I came in, you know, took my pants off, grabbed a drink, sat down and started watching whatever it was with them. And I think I actually went to bed at a decent time that night, but I stayed up until like 3 o'clock in the morning playing my Steam Deck. So it wasn't like I went to bed and like, oh, it's time to go to sleep. I went up there and I started playing my Steam Deck. And I think it was around 2 o'clock that I finally, it was somewhere between 1:30 and 2. Because I woke up with my Steam Deck on my chest, completely drained of power. So I obviously passed out with it in my hands, and it just flopped on me. But yeah, the next day we played, we pretty much kept it low key. I mean, I kept drinking, of course, but we kept it low key. We just hung around the house, drank some. And it was actually funny because Goy was like, hey, I'm going to run down and go get something. I can't remember what he said. I think he said he was going to get like bourbon and bitters to make Manhattans. And I said, hey, if you're there, would you pick up a bottle of rum? I said, preferably Pirate if it's there, but I'll take anything. I'll take Captain, whatever. So he comes back and he's got a bottle of Pirate. I was like, yes. So I, of course, pour a nice big glass of rum. And I'm like, I've been drinking beers all morning. So it's like, all right, nice big glass of rum. So they were all drinking Manhattans, and we started playing this game called Scythe, which is kind of like a tabletop 4X game, I think is the best way to describe it. It was fun, long, a lot of setup, and really long game. Like, I think it was 2.5, 3 hours that we were playing. And, like midway, like, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way through the game, somebody looks over and says, well, what are you drinking? I said, oh man, I'm drinking rum and coke. So I took a big old sip off of it. He's like, somebody went to go get up, and he's like, I want to drink too. I was like, well, there's beer in the fridge. I was like, no, I want to drink. I was like, try rum and Coke. It's like, there's plenty of Coke Zero in there. I said, there's regular Coke too. I said, make a rum and Coke. If you don't like it, I'll drink it. Well, one bottle of rum later, everybody's sloshed. And I'm just sitting there going, I got a lot of catching up to do here. Because I was drinking beers in between rum and Cokes. Just like, yeah, I think I need to catch up because I'm nowhere near as buzzed as you guys. But we played Scythe. It was awesome. That was fun. And then Monday, everybody got up and we went to, everybody went to leave because a bunch of them were driving. And so after they left, it was me and the guy from San Diego. And we were trying to figure out like what to do because we had like all day in Louisville. No, I didn't have to be at the airport till like 3 o'clock or something. And I think 3 o'clock was me being anal because I didn't want to miss my flight like I did already. So I went tooling around. We grabbed a bite to eat, and I had my first poke bowl. Never had a poke bowl in my life. So I grabbed a poke bowl, and this guy from San Diego was like, yeah, man, like these things are great. These are like, this is what we do when we want to kind of eat healthy. You know, it's got veggies, it's got rice, it's got fish, it's got, and I'm like, look at that. I'm like, yeah, man, this sounds like it's got sugars, it's got carbohydrates, it's got vegetables. I was like, if you put carrots in there, it's got beta carotene. I'm like, it's got protein. I'm like, this is a great thing. How have I never had one of these? So we're chilling out, we're eating. And then we were walking up and down like the riverfront. We're just like trying to kill time, just like desperately trying to kill time. Then he's like, because I was like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, an arcade. And then, I think thought he was reading my face. He's like, but that's kind of lame. I was like, no, dude, I love an arcade. Let's go find an arcade. He's like, yeah, man, let's go find some pinball machines. I'm like, dude, I am down for some pinball right now. So I look up and I'm like, all right, where do we go? And I just Googled arcade. So there's this place called Activate. I'm like, all right, what the hell's Activate? Let's go check this place out. So we go and check out this place, Activate. When we get there, it's a big building, it had a front on it. We're looking at it like, all right, well, this is weird, but cool. Let's go check it out. So we go inside and you buy these wristbands. And they literally have like these different rooms and they're all kind of different themed, but it's an interactive arcade. So like, one room had a bunch of lights on the ground and pressure plates, and you had to like run and step on the pressure plates and hit buttons on the wall and clear everything and then get back to the green safe space. And then like as the levels went up, there'd be red lines chasing you on the ground, so you had to like leap over them to get to the other ones. It was really it was intense. And then there was another one where you had a bunch of hoops and you had to shoot hoops, but you had to hit hoops in like a correct order. You had to hit a certain number for a certain level. And like after this first game, which was the running around trying to hit the buttons on the wall and stuff, we both look at each other and he's just like, Cecil, what are we doing? We're too old for this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But we hung around and we had like, I think we had like 75 minutes to play. And we hung around and we played for like that 75 minutes. And it was a good time. It was a really good time. I got a rug burn on one of my knees from doing because they had these laser beams where you had to like get through the laser minefield. So the laser beams would like change and stuff, and you have to like duck and we were rolling through them. I got a rug burn on my knee from doing one of those, and then we rolled on another one for we had to shoot blasters at these targets, and then the laser beams coming across. So you had to like blast them and then run, and like I rolled and I dislocated my pinky toe. It was such a good time. And we sweat. Like, holy crap, did we sweat. We got done with that and we were just like, man, why can't we have some place like this close to us? It was like $25 for 75 minutes. And if you get up to like, you keep score. And if you get up to rank 8, everything is 50% off forever. So you go in there and it's like $12 for an hour. And like, it's fun. It's cardio. It was just a ball. Like, it really was a good time. So then we're sitting there and like, I just look at him. Oh, well, there was a funny part. So throughout the weekend, we were playing Never Have I Ever. And they kept trying to come up with things that I haven't done. And there was like all sorts of things. I mean, even down to like, so we're sitting there going, never have I ever, when we're at one of the bourbon places. And I'm just sitting there. Every time they say it, I just sip. I'm sipping. They're like, no. I'm like, yeah. And I give the story of how or why I did it or when I did it. And I'm just like, I mean, you can call bullshit on me, but I don't know how I can prove it. I was like, we can call up somebody who was there if you'd like. And I just looked at him. I said, look, this is normally how it is. I'll tell a story and people will go, oh, that's bullshit. And then somebody who was there, like that story will come up for some reason. And somebody who was there will be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh my God, how did you survive that? Like that thing was literally sticking out of your arm and it went all the way through. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. It's just really weird. I got the cool scar from it though. So literally throughout the whole weekend, they kept going, all right, never have I ever. And they'd come up with something weird. And I'd go, well, and I'd drink. And there was a few things that they'd come up with, but they were trying to come up with like the mundane that never have I ever. And like there were so many things never have I ever. So when I got the Poke Bowl, I was like, never have I ever had a Poke Bowl. I was like, there we go. And the guy who was with me from San Diego, he's like, too bad we're not playing anymore, but there we go. We got one. He's like, but I'm like, but I can't do that now. He's like, true. So then we go to leave. All right. This is where things get fun because that's how my life is. It's always fun. We're there. We leave this Activate place. I'm like, all right, I got to go fill the rental car. And then I would drive to the airport. Well, as we're driving to a gas station, which Google lead us, Google be praised. It took us through some weird back roads. All of a sudden, we're zipping through some sketchy places. And I'm like, all right, dude, windows up, doors locked. If one of us gets shot, the other one has to drive him to the hospital. We're like, all right. So we finally get all the way over to this gas station. And it starts to rain, but it's like just barely coming down as we're pulling in. I get out of the car and I'm literally going to put my credit card in and the wind just picks up and the rain starts coming in sideways and like it's pushing me over, like literally pushing me over. I'm 230 pounds, 6.5 feet tall. And this wind is knocking me over like I weigh nothing. So I'm literally holding onto the car and I'm pumping gas to fill this thing up. And I am drenched. I'm out here. I pumped 3.5 gallons of gas. Because we didn't drive anywhere that much. We Ubered everywhere. And I am literally soaked to the bone. I get back in the car and the guy from San Diego just looks at me. He's like, you're soaked. I'm like, yeah. Looking like taking my glasses off, wiping them down. I'm like, yeah, I am. So we pull up to the stoplight. And literally the lights are bouncing on the wire, going crazy. And the signs that were literally on the wire itself start flipping and rotating like with the wind, just like a propeller. And he's just looking at me going, I didn't believe you that this type of stuff happens to you. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's the Cecil experience. Welcome. It's like, would you like an aspirin? So we finally, we hydroplane all the way over to the airport. We finally get there. And as we get there, we check in. I'm like, all right, everything's going well. And on the way over, he was looking. He's like, my plane's been delayed. I'm not leaving until like 9 o'clock tonight. I'm like, dude, that sucks. I'm sorry. He's like, but your plane's on time. I'm like, well, that's amazing with this storm. I mean, if it delayed your plane and you're leaving hours after I am, I'm surprised. So we get there and we get through, I check my bag, we get through security, and on the other side of security, I start checking and it looks like my plane's been delayed, but like 3 minutes. So I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. And like 3 minutes. Okay, whatever. So I'm sitting there, I'm walking back and forth and, all of a sudden I got a text on my phone because I signed up for the text messages. It's like, your plane's been delayed. Your plane's been delayed. Your plane's been delayed and you might not make your connecting flight. So my plane got delayed. I had an hour layover in Charlotte, North Carolina. I had an hour layover. My plane was delayed an hour and 15 minutes. Getting leaving Louisville. I was like, well, shit. Now I got to figure out something. I was like, you know what though? It's like, it's only 4 hours, 4.5 hours. I could probably drive it. I'll just get a rental car and I'll drive it. And then I'm looking at it because I'm looking at all the flights and the flights aren't leaving for 3.5 hours or so. So I'd still get there around the same time. I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out when I get there. I'm like, I'm going to roll the bones. I'm going to get on this plane and hopefully get on this plane, and hopefully I'll have enough time to get there. So I get on the plane, and the guy's like, the captain's like, hey, we're going to try to shave off some time in the air. We don't know how much we'll be able to, but we're going to see what we can do. I'm just sitting there going, okay. So one of the stewardess walks around. It's like, hey, are you on this flight? I'm like, well, yeah, I have a connecting flight to Richmond. And he's like, okay, we're going to make an announcement just before we land and ask everybody to stay in their seats to allow everybody who's got connecting flights that are tight to the front and allow them to get out. I was like, well, thank you. We get there. I got like, I'm waiting there. Like I hop up. The dude next to me was kind enough to like get up out of the seat and then let me out because I was on the window, and then hop back in. Nobody was playing the jerk card. So I'm sitting there. I get out of that plane and I start dead sprinting. I mean, I'm carrying my carry-on bag and I am dead sprinting. Going from, where was I? I was D something and I had to get to C15. I take off like a bat out of hell. I'm dead sprinting. I'm literally running up. And as I'm running up, I'm literally the last person to get on that plane. And I am running as fast as humanly possible. Or for Cecilly possible. Let me put it that way, because I'm not Usain Bolt here. I get out, like, I'm literally walking up. I'm like, I'm here. I scan, and they're like, you're lucky. And I'm like, yeah. I walked through the doors. I literally stepped foot on the plane. They closed the doors right behind me. And as they close the doors are closing now. Please take your seats. We're going to be preparing for takeoff. I was like, yes. And then all of a sudden it hit me. I had a checked bag. Did my checked bag move faster than I did? Well, one way to find out. So I get on my plane, get all the way to Richmond, flying in. I'm like, all right, I made it. Somebody's going to pick me up. It's awesome. It's good. Hopefully my bag's here. If not, I don't care. I'll get some sleep. Deal with it later. So then we land. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait. And I'm literally waiting there because somebody was like, we couldn't get to the gate. It was like off or something so that we couldn't get up close enough to it. And I'm just like, I want to go to sleep. Please, let me sleep. Stop all of this. So we were stuck there for like 30 some odd minutes. Finally get off the plane, get up to the carousel, and wouldn't you know, there's my bag. So it was a hell of a trip. It was a fun time, stressful at both ends, but all worked out in the end. But yeah, that was my Kentucky trip. And in the process, I get this sweet flavored bourbon. All right, let's get back to this. That is bright. Let's get back to this Terminator. Which, all right, it's got standard controls, first person. Ooh. HK aerial, that's cool. Oh, there's the Turtinators. Oh, and they're shooting at me. Oh, they're wrecking people. Oh man, they're wrecking me. This ain't positive. Oh, people are dropping like flies. So, if it wasn't obvious, I'm in the future. And Terminators are abound. I've just had a building fall on me, I think. No, I had the building behind me. Oh, okay. F is melee. That's not ideal. H is heal. All right, tradable resources. So there's some cool stuff going on here. All right. So smokes and beer. I don't have time for this. Don't yell at me and tell me I don't have time for this. Almost died in Louisville. Well, let me do my thing. Man, I gotta adjust the sensitivity on this mouse though, because this mouse is super sensitive. Oh, gotta hold E to close doors. Okay. The hell is this mouse on? Oh, friggin' safety pin. Alright, where am I at? Alright, what's Nova? I don't know what Nova is. There's a sign that says Nova. Well, so far, I mean, the graphics on this aren't, like, they're not top-notch. They're not, like, crazy good. But, I mean, fire looks pretty good. Pretty basic. Oh, there's an HK aerial again. Hopefully I get to shoot one of those things down. Alright, where am I going here? Yeah, I'm just going to be playing this for the next few. So, that was all the story I had today. It was a fun trip, though. Magnet had a good time. I think everybody had a good... I hope everybody had a good time. The one older guy was kind of laid back and chilled. Spent a lot of time in the hot tub. But hey, hopefully that's what he wanted to do. Hopefully that was his way of relaxing. Because he was a director of something. And he was definitely stressed out. Not to say that I'm not stressed, but... Oh, I can now press V for ultra... Oh, I got ultraviolet. Oh. That's not ultraviolet. That's friggin' X-ray. I can see friggin'... see Terminators through the wall? That doesn't seem right. That seems kind of OP, if you ask me. I guess I use that to see through the wall and see if I can... Oh, there we go. Now I'm talking about it. I've got a pistol. There we go. 44 shots. 9 in the round, 9 in the chamber. Or 9 in the mag. Yeah, it seems like totally something that's going to work against a Terminator. It looks like a Glock. T to toggle flashlight. Oh, I have a flashlight too. That would have been handy to know before. Yeah, why would I use a flashlight when I just have night vision goggles? Oh, check dumpsters. Tradable resources in dumpsters. Ba 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 ba. Alright, I'm guessing the fire there says I cannot go that way. Like, nay, go that way. No fire. Is it like a stamina bar? No, it looks like I can run indefinitely. There's a graphics. Oh, detection indicator. Detection visual authority. Oh, yeah, okay. I gotta use this basically to just see through stuff and see the different enemies. And I have to sneak past them. So there's a stealth portion of the game. Which you would think it'd be pretty hard to sneak past robots. And it looks like they're, I don't know, making out or something. Okay, well, I guess I snuck past them. Oh, nope, there's more over there. Oh, dear. And it's coming at me. It's heading straight for me! Oh, good. Just run past him at parts. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, trash fire. Don't forget trash fires, everybody. When you're cold, trash fire. Just don't fall asleep next to a tire fire. You never wake up. Alright. Well, there's those things out there. I guess I'm not supposed to kill them. Oh yeah, so I hope everybody else had a great weekend. I definitely did. I guess I'll cut it here. Keep tuned for the next episode of the G.N.A Misadventure League. That's going to be fun. We're going to be meeting back up, I think, second week of December, 16th, somewhere around there. I think somewhere around there. But it'll be a good time. So, hope you enjoyed. hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Reviews help people find the show. So, if you enjoy listening to us, let other people know so that we can get them to listen too. We are on Google Play Music or Google Play Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Player FM, Spreaker, MyTuner, Your Listen, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, a bunch of other places. If we're not there, let us know. We'll upload there. This bourbon does hit pretty hard. Ooh. Don't breathe it, though. Man, that's a bad idea. We're partnered with Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle is a game purchasing service with a twist. You buy games and donate to charity at the same time. So put that partner equals G.N.A podcast at the end of your Humble Bundle link. That'll let them know that we sent you. We want you to make sure to take all of your... If there is a slider that you find that has G.N.A podcast on it, just put that all the way down to 0. We don't want your money. We would rather you give all your money to charity or maybe to the developer or maybe Thoroughbones Humble Bundle themselves, but we do not want your money. So put that slider for G.N.A all the way down to 0. And check us out at our website at www.gnapodcast.com. You can find a link there over to Microbrew Gamer's website. He does reviews on different stuff and different articles, so go check him out. It's fun stuff. And it's better now. I forgot something, but it's all good. It's all good. All good in the hood. So have a good night.